We have officially made it to Tuesday, June 23rd. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another episode of 20-Minute Trader TV. Listen, I haven't been doing this for 20 years. I haven't even been doing this that long. I'm not some Wall Street insider. I don't have some financial background. I'm definitely not some kind of math genius, but I'm a mom. I'm a 20-Minute Trader student, and Jeremy Russell put me here to show you that the so-called Wall Street secret is just actually a simple, repeatable pattern on a really fast chart. So we're trading the futures market, which means it's open 23 hours a day. While the rest of the world is still hitting the snooze button and dreading their commute, we already going to be hunting the gold pattern. So this is kind of what I do before I go to work. I take a look at the charts for about 20 minutes. That's usually when I trade. For you guys, because I like you guys so much, I'll be live trading for a full hour. So what I'm going to do, what I plan on doing is I'm trying to show as many patterns within this hour as possible so you guys are able to see different variations of the pattern. And what I'm going to be doing is a simplified version of the gold pattern. So the gold pattern goes from very, very basic, literally 3 lines on a chart. We're going to look at 2 things. There's 2 criteria for this. There's divergence, which we'll go over in a minute, and an entry point. Okay, so this is very simplified, but just know that the more kind of criteria that we follow when it comes to the gold pattern, the higher the win rate gets. So my goal right now in front of you guys isn't to show you some high win rate or anything like that, but I want to get you the most familiar with spotting divergence and good entry points. So that is my goal. I'm going to try to take as many trades as possible. I'm also going to show you why some trades worked out and why some trades maybe didn't work out, okay? And then also while we're in the trade, I'm gonna tell you about my thought process and what's making me either feel more confident or less confident in the trade. We're also gonna do a type of trade management that's very easy. This is very beginner friendly. So I'm gonna start this off super easy, but this is for anybody who is a non-trader, beginner, intermediate trader, advanced trader. Anybody can learn this strategy. It's just you have to want to do it, right? You got to be passionate about it. So before we get into all that jazz, and I'm already talking and yapping, who's in the squad today? Where are you guys tuning in from? Where's your location? It's good to see some of my regulars in here. We got Grandpa Trades from Palm Beach, Mike from NYC. Already see you guys. All right, let's get in here. Let me check Instagram. Good morning. Good morning. If you guys haven't already, if you guys see the little snapshot, if you guys can go ahead, if you guys are in Facebook or Instagram, type the word class in the comments right now. Don't wait for the end because we'll instantly send you a direct message with a free VIP ticket to the introductory web class with Jeremy Russell himself. If you guys are in YouTube, just scroll down to the link in the description. Right there, go ahead and click the link, register for it. That's how you are able to actually see Jeremy, understand a little bit more of the mechanics and how he actually found the pattern and see how this engine actually works under the hood. He'll probably show you a few different examples. And he's the original, right? He discovered the pattern. He's the founder. He's the guru. He's the 20-minute trader. But he wants me to show you guys exactly how a student trades the market. And that's what I'm going to be here to do. So, all right, let's see where you guys are from. All right, Beauty 2 Raws in Atlanta. Ali's from Germany. Ashley's from Australia. Jose's in Virginia. What up, Auntie? Also a baddie. Faith Works is in Buford, Georgia. Who else is in here? Hugo's in Cleveland. Hard Heavens in Virginia. Kami Abs is in Iran. I hope I'm saying that right. Kamai Waps? You can correct me. I'm horrible with names, but I try. Chantel Chanel's in Iowa. We have Dr. Craig is in Daytona. Unbridled Living Costa Rica is in Costa Rica. Robert's from New Jersey. Callie's from California. Space Rangers from Colorado Springs. Paul's in Tampa Bay. That's awesome. Kazi's from India. All right, cool. Thank you guys for doing that. It's kind of cool for you guys to also see where traders are tuning in from all around the world. So thank you guys for sharing your morning, your afternoon, or your evening with me. We're all here to trade, so let's get into it. Before I get into the actual chart, got to do the professional adulting really quick. So I treat this like a business. I don't treat this like I'm at a casino, right? So the stream isn't a hobby. We're gonna trade with absolute transparency. What you guys are watching today is purely educational. This is not a signal service. This is not a copy trading service. This is definitely not financial advice. I'm a mom. I'm a mentor. I'm a relentless student of 20-Minute Trader. I've mastered this and I'm growing within the community. And yeah, I'm also a trader. I have trading partners. I have trading groups. It's actually a really good time. If you guys join 20-Minute Trader, I'm happy to trade with you guys also. I really love trading and I trade pretty much every night, every morning. But I'm not your personal advisor, your financial advisor, right? So trading can be risky and yes, you can lose money. So that's the realistic part of trading, but we just have to talk about that. So since we are going to be live trading today, we have zero clue whether we are going to win or lose these trades, right? But the secret is once you become a trader, you have to become completely detached from the outcome, right? So we don't guess, we don't hope, we don't gamble. In this room, we're going to operate like the casino, right? We have an edge against the market and we're going to use that edge. This is a proven mathematical edge and we are going to just follow the rules and see how the trades play out. 20-Minute Trader in the gold pattern, there's been back testing on this. R&D is constantly going on. And we're always looking to test the pattern to make sure that it's still working in the market and the market conditions. And then also we're incorporating things that we learn in R&D to strengthen the actual pattern. So we always are revamping this and improving our win rate, okay? And it's not always about the win rate. It's definitely about the person and the psychology and who steps up to the screen, because we can all click the button at different times watching the same chart, right? So the good thing about 20-Minute Traders, we're going to teach you right from the start all the things that you're supposed to do and all the things you're not supposed to do. So with 20-Minute Trader, we're looking for two things, okay? The first thing is already on the chart. Do you guys see that the orange line is pointing straight up and the blue line is flat? This is actually the first signal that we're looking for. This is what we call divergence. So we have the blue line and the orange line moving in opposite directions. If the orange line is pointing up more than the blue line, that's to predict that the blue line is going to go short or down, okay? So this is short divergence right here. Even though we're going sideways, the Dow is going up, we are going across. So this is for short divergence. If we zoom up here, what we're actually looking for is an entry point. The entry point we're gonna find down here in the RSI. So the RSI is gonna give us our entry point. But first, we need the divergence. We need these lines coming apart. So for short divergence, I'm looking in the RSI and I'm looking for this white line to make a pop up. So I want the white line to pop in the opposite direction of the blue line, okay? I'm gonna give you guys a few different examples, but while I'm just looking at the chart, this is the first time we're seeing divergence. Don't worry if you didn't catch that. I'm gonna go over this a few different times, okay? So I went into that really fast. I'm not getting the entry point, but if this white line does pop up here, right, or even a little bit past it, it's going to give me an entry point to actually enter this trade going short, okay? So that's what I'm looking for. If you guys notice this white line and it pops up around this area, we can try taking a short trade together. So I'm going to see if we get that opportunity, and then I'm going to explain about the chart, and I'm going to go over the criteria one more time. But I do want you guys to see this trade if it's going to give us what we need. So when I say a pop up, so if the blue line's pointing down, I want the white line to pop up, and I want it to be, we call it a meaningful pop. And it's not really like a number on the side or anything like that, but it needs to be larger than the recent movements. So like this movement right here, this would have been a good pop up right here, but We didn't get it, and that's okay. But we do have to have divergence and an entry point in the RSI to take the trade. So right there, we saw divergence, for about a minute, but we didn't get that entry point. So we just let that trade go. And as you guys will notice, the gold pattern tends to show up every few minutes. So what we do is we don't revenge trade. We don't have FOMO. We literally just watch the chart and we're like, we didn't have an entry point, and that's okay. We'll just wait for the next one. Okay. So let's talk about the chart. This charting platform, get really familiar with it. A lot of traders use this. It's very user friendly. If this looks intimidating to you, I assure you it's really not. You can't really mess it up. Even if you mess it up, you can just go back to your same layout. It's very easy to use. If anything, I was super excited to get on the charts when I first started trading, but some people, it intimidates them, and I understand that, but don't be. So this is the tool that we're going to use to trade. You can trade on here. Once you buy TradingView, their subscription, you get a paper trading account, which means that that's like a practice or a demo account, and you're able to trade it on a live chart. So this is where a lot of traders are going to start trading practice, and they're also going to keep trading on this. Once they get into prop firms, we use prop firms to actually trade because we're not risking our savings account or our checking account or anything like that. All of our savings are safe. We're going to use prop firm accounts, and you're able to connect your prop firm directly into TradingView and trade on the exact same chart that you learned from. So this TradingView you're going to be using from the beginning to the end. So it's definitely worth it. So getting into the chart, we're going to be trading the blue line. The blue line is MES is the ticker, and you just type it right here in the symbol search. So MES, and this is the S&P 500 futures index, and it's the micro. If you're trading the ES, that's the mini. It's worth a lot more. So we trade the micros. So that's how you get the blue line on the chart. You're just going to change the candles to lines right here in this drop down. Okay. And now every trade that I'm going to be looking for is going to be off of the blue line. Another cool thing about the futures market, it's open 23 hours a day, so you can trade it whenever you want. But also, unlike the stock market, you're able to make money in the futures market if the price is going up or if the price is going down. So you can trade the futures indexes either way to make profit. So going to be trading the blue line, which is MES. The orange line is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's the 30 largest companies by industry in the United States. Kind of acts like a GPS for us because most of the time they're going to be moving together, but when they come apart, that's kind of when we are looking for that entry point, because it does happen every few minutes because they come apart and they come back together. They come apart, they come back together. So we're just trading that momentary time when they're pulling apart. To get the Dow on the chart, you go to the plus with a circle right next to the symbol, compare symbols, and you're just going to type in YM, and it's going to be the E-mini Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you're going to select new price scale, okay? Then you're going to have both of the lines on the chart. Make sure that you also change that one from candles to line, okay? And then your chart should look like mine. You might have to change the colors or something like that, but that's what it looks like. So the only other thing that's on the chart is one indicator, which we call RSI. RSI is the relative strength index. All that is it's telling me the strength and the momentum of the blue line, okay? So it's averaging out the last couple of movements of the blue line. So it's going to tell me if there's more buyers or more sellers. You guys don't really need to know about that, but think about it. If there's more buyers, the price is going up. If there's more sellers, they're dropping the price, right? And all that means is the white RSI line, if it's in the upper half, the price is going up. If the white line is moving down or in the lower half, the price is moving down. So here's another example of divergence. The blue line's pointing up. So this is long divergence. We just had the pop down right here. I'm going to enter a trade to go up, to go long. And you guys can all see the divergence. Blue line is pointing up. Orange line is pointing down. So whatever direction the blue line is pointing, we're going to trade in that direction. But as you notice, the white line on the bottom, I needed a move in the opposite direction. I needed a pop down to get that entry point, which would have been right, if I move this over, which would have been right about here. I entered the trade, right? So let's just see how that works out. What I don't like about this trade is we're just moving sideways. So I'm just showing you guys divergences and entry points right now. I'm not really trying to, have 100% win rate right here, but we're just going to test and see if these trades actually work out. But the divergence is great. We still have strong divergence, but our price is moving in the opposite direction. And also our RSI is dropping, which is dropping the price. You guys can all see that. So that's an example of going long with an entry point, okay? All right, so that's going to hit my stop loss right there. But we're in a practice account. We're in the paper account. So this is what we do in the morning. What we do is we start off in our paper trade practice account, and then we see how trading's going. Trading's going well. Then we enter to our real accounts, our prop firm accounts, and we're able to trade these on the same exact screen. But the market, you always kind of want to test it out before you're trading because you want to recognize the size of the movements, right? And you also want to see the actual trend. So all I'm doing is I'm just zooming out. I'm scrolling out on my mouse wheel. And we can see, just zooming out, that we were in a strong uptrend. So the price was moving up of the blue line. And then we came down pretty sharply as well. So now we're in a downtrend. But now we're going sideways, okay? So what I'm noticing is this last low came down pretty far, but it didn't surpass this last low, and it's going sideways. So what I want to see is either the blue line continue to move down and surpass this low and that last one to start trading short or downward. If the blue line wants to go up, that's fine too, but I need this to constantly be moving up to surpass this last high, this last high, this last high, and that'll make me more confident to trade longs or upward, okay? So right now, we're still getting just this sideways motion, so we're gonna give it a few minutes to kind of develop. I'm trying to move these so you guys they're not overlapped so much, so you guys can see them a little bit better. And then let me just make this white line a little bit thicker. Is that better for you guys for the white line? Usually I have it pretty thick and pretty bright. Okay, yeah, that definitely looks better. Okay, if you guys have, oh, Grandpa Trade, you're so right. It was on a 5-second. So if you guys have any questions about the trades or anything like that, go ahead and ask me in the chat, in the comment section, and I will get to as many questions as I can because I want you guys to follow along with me. Also, if you guys are seeing long divergence with the blue line pointing up and the lines are splitting apart, you guys are free to call out, you're spotting long divergence. If the blue line is headed down and the orange line is flat or pointing upwards in the opposite direction, that's for the blue line to go down or to go short. That's a short divergence. You guys are able to call that out. And then we can all look for an entry point together. So this is as much as my class as this is your guys' class. Feel free to even chat with each other in the chat. Just be respectful of each other. That's all that I ask. We all have to start somewhere, right? So we are not going sideways any longer. We are moving downwards, right? But we have no divergence. So you see how the orange line and the blue line, even past these trend lines, are going in the same direction, right? So they're pretty synced up. They're pretty parallel. So we're going to wait for a divergence. We're going to wait for these two lines to come apart. All these we call these widgets. And what that means is they're just like miniature trend lines that are smoothing out 120 seconds of our 1 second chart. So 120 seconds or 2 minutes. All this choppiness in the background, it's just smoothing it out so we can see the average price of that last 120 seconds. And that's how we spot divergence. So what I'm noticing here is we are in a downtrend, but now, can you guys see this? We're having long divergence. Long divergence means that blue line is pointing upwards, right? And the blue line is jumping. The Dow is now pointing downwards and staying downwards in a downtrend. So this is long divergence to trade upwards. For our entry point, what do we need? We need that RSI to make a pop down, right? So let's see if we get the pop down to trade upwards. It's a little bit riskier because we're going against this small trend right here, because this could be coming up and come right back down, or this can continue coming straight up. So I'm going to enter here just to take the trade. So I had a pop down right here of the RSI. This is a meaningful pop down. We still have long divergence, right? And as you guys notice, when I'm in a trade, as soon as I enter a trade, whether I'm going up or down, long or short, I get these automatic bracket orders that pop up. So if I'm trading upwards, I want that blue line to continue going up. And this green line here, this green box, is my take profit. So with this, without me having to click any more buttons, I could just sit back and watch this develop. If the blue line hits the green line, this will automatically exit me for a profit without me clicking anything. Now, if the trade goes against me and the blue line starts moving downwards and it hits this orange line or this orange box, this is my stop loss. So this is what I'm willing to risk in the trade. And I know that as soon as I enter a trade, I'm risking $100 to make $100, but I can also move these brackets at any time. So if I want to make it less, I can say, okay, I'm willing to risk $75 for $100 or anything like that. But I do want to give it room to breathe. Also, when it comes to the take profit, what we do is sometimes when we're in a nice trend, you can continuously move up your take profit. And as long as the line is going in your favor, in your direction, you're able, if I get a chance, I'll show you in this trade or another trade, you're able to take your stop loss, which is actually a negative number right now, and you're able to move it into profit. So we call that protecting a trade. Or no matter what in that trade, you're either going to make a few dollars or break even, or you're going to, hit your take profit. So you're able to move these at any time around the chart, whatever kind of level that you want. But let's just see. So what I'm noticing while I'm in this trade is we're kind of going up, we're kind of going down, but we're not making any new lows. But what I am noticing is our widget, right? We were pointing up back here, right? And our orange line was pointing down here. And that's how I had long divergence with a great entry point right here. But right now, our widgets are actually going against me. The blue line is now turning downwards and the orange line is flattening out. That does happen sometimes when we're actually in a trade, and that's okay. But if we start making new lows, right, that trade is definitely going against me. But the market does move up and down, up and down, up and down. That's why we want to have room between our entry point. So this is the entry point. This is the live price. You want to have room for your stop loss to breathe or to actually go into the negative to come back up, right? So here's an example of doing like a trailing stop, we call this. So say I move this from $100 to $150. And what I can do now is my stop loss is negative 100. Pop up one more time so I can keep going. All right. So now I can move this to either break even right here, which was my entry price, or I can move it a little bit into profit like that to just protect the trade, to get something out of the trade. But don't get in a habit of that, right? So I'm just going to keep it here so you guys can see what it looks like. But what I do like about this trade, that I'm still in the trade, is my widgets, even though they're parallel, they're pointing in the same direction. They're both moving upwards. And also the RSI is moving upwards and it's staying in the upper half. So it's pushing price up, which is good for us. So I'm going to bring this in a more realistic range just in case, and see how that goes. But there, so it just tapped me out in profit, but we did predict the correct direction. Okay, so I want you guys to see that. So sometimes when you're in a trade, the widgets can turn against you for a moment and then keep going in your favor, in your direction. That's okay. But this is why we protected the trade, because it was going sideways for a while, right? Even back here, it was going sideways for a while, and we're not necessarily making strong new highs like we were right here, right? So we were going sideways, we came up, coming down, and then we're dropping again. So as you guys can see the widgets, blue line is pointing down sharply. Dow is dropping as well, but it's a little bit more flat. So we're going to see if we get an entry point for a short would actually have to be the RSI, this white line making a pop up to take a trade going down. That'll give us our entry price. That'll give us our entry area. So if this white line pops up, we can take this down for a short because this is still going downwards. But I'm not going to necessarily look to enter a trade because where's Grandpa Trades? It's coming up on 927. Right about here. So from 927, it's a good habit, you guys, to mark off 927 to 933 because typically the closer we get to the New York Stock Exchange open, which is at 9:30 Eastern time, the moves are getting much larger, right? Which, as you can see, we can get taken out. Our stop loss can get hit very fast. And it also gets very jagged. So the price, since the prices are so much larger around this time, it's going to just whipsaw us, okay? It's going to be super jagged and kind of all over the place. And it tends to be unpredictable at market open because there are so many orders flooding the market, okay? So what you want to see is between 927 and actually 933. So I'm going to move this over to 933 now. I'm not going to trade or actively be in a trade from 927 to 933 because I want the market to open. I want all those orders to get filled and the choppiness to kind of chill. And then typically after 3 to 5 minutes of the market open, then it kind of calms down and it picks a direction. But as you guys are going to see, the movements are going to start getting larger and they're going to almost take up most of my screen. So right now, let's just talk about the chart. What we are seeing right now is technically, even though we're in a downtrend, this is for long divergence because the orange line is more sharply down, right? The orange line is pointing down, the blue line is more flat, but you can't really trust this trend right now because it's making very large movements to the downside and it's going to make the widgets turn because the prices are going to get much larger, right? Because that widget is only taking into consideration 120 seconds, but it's the average 120 seconds. So if the larger that these movements are going to get, the widgets are going to start turning faster than you guys have seen just in the most recent, time frame. So right here, this is another example of divergence. Blue line is pointing down, orange line is pointing up. This is for short divergence or to trade the blue line going downwards, right? So another example of divergence here to go short because you can see whatever direction the blue line is pointing, you want to trade in that direction. So since it's flat or more pointing down, you want to take this going down. The orange line is pointing up. It's in the opposite direction. Check. Blue line's flat. Check. All you're going to need to see is an entry point in the RSI. But again, we don't trust this time period. So this is exactly why, because a lot of times these movements are so large, it's not an entry point. It's actually a reversal. Okay. So you guys are probably going to see some craziness happen. It's always fun to watch market open. I know a lot of people trade market open. I'm not one of those folks. All right. Let's see if you guys have any questions. What's going on in here this morning? Good morning. Good morning. All right. I'm going to breeze through these because you guys are busy in here. What am I trading? I'm trading MES, the S&P 500 Futures Index. What platform am I using? I'm using TradingView, and then I'm probably going to connect a prop firm account into this in just a few minutes. What is my orange line? That is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That is the YM, which is just the futures index of the Dow Jones. Is this live trading right now? GTOS? Yes. Every morning from 9 to 10, this is live trading with Kai in 20-minute trader. TradingView and MES. Sometimes I trade gold, but I really like trading gold at night. Yeah, you can trade along with me. I encourage everybody to practice trade because I'm doing the most simplest form of the gold pattern, okay? So my goal here isn't to have the highest win rate. I'm showing you guys actually, I'm talking you through my trades, but I'm doing like the bare bones of the gold pattern, okay? With the gold pattern, it's a proprietary strategy and pattern. You actually have to sign a non-disclosure agreement to know all the specifics of the gold pattern, because we want to protect that information, because it does have a really high win rate. And yeah. Also, it's like 20-minute trader is like a full-blown business, okay? It's not like you buy a course and you just watch videos. Like when I tell you 20-minute trader is like this club, it's called 20-minute trader club, or we call it community, because it's live. So there's live customer service, there's live mentors, there's live salespeople, there's literally all these different departments that you guys have access to live. This isn't this is more what you would compare to a trading school. This is actually there's 8 to like 12 or 14 live classes a day. You guys are able to tune into every single one of those classes. And what's cool about the classes is you're able to raise your hand or come off mute and actually talk directly to mentors, ask live questions. There's also a chat where you guys can talk in the chat, ask questions in the chat. There's ambassadors in the community that are like advanced students that help other students. There's also live trading rooms that you guys are able to access in 20-minute trader. You guys can trade with other people, all that kind of stuff. So it's the real deal, okay? It's not some scam. I'm telling you. It's funny because a lot of people have been scammed. I get it, you know, but this is not that type of thing. And when you, 20-minute trader, it has free patterns and free classes, and then it has like the upgrade, and then it has, you know, advanced things. Like there's different levels to it. So you can be a completely free 20-minute trader for zero cost, right? You guys can have access to the club and all that, but the higher levels include more things, right? And as you become a trader, you're going to advance as well. So what I'm noticing here, let's get into the chart, is we had a sharp downtrend at market open, and then we had a sharp reversal as well. We went from the bottom RSI straight to the top of the RSI. We're in an uptrend. The divergence, the blue line is pointing up. So this is a long divergence to go upwards. We just got that drop down right here. I'm going to enter a trade just for fun. Did it go? Did it go? Come on, TradingView. It's like not firing for me. Hold on. But beautiful divergence. Blue line's pointing up. Orange line is pointing down. I had the nice drop down right about here. I was trying to enter that trade. Let me hit a refresh because I'm pretty sure I got into that trade. Sometimes TradingView, it's like too much going on. Plus, I'm on a 1 second chart. So let's just see. Man, it's taking forever to load. How does your guys' look? Your guys' look like that? Now it switched me to gold. I don't want to trade gold. All right, there. It did enter me. I knew it. And it entered me for 15 contracts. All right, so, wow, we are in here pretty heavy, my friends. All right, so it did hit our take profit. That was a pretty large trade. But sometimes you got to reload your chart. Typically, I do that before the stream. But as you guys can see, let's break down that trade really quick. So we had the blue line going up. We had divergence. We had blue line pointing up. The orange line was pointing down. I had the entry point right here. So let me show you what the trade looked like. So we entered right about there, right? It went a little bit into drawdown. So it came into the negative a little bit, but then it turned around and it did hit our take profit for a long trade because we had long divergence. That blue line was pointing up. We had a good entry point right here, right? And we entered the trade. That trade worked out. Good trade. But as you guys can also notice is the moves are getting much, much larger near market open. So let's wait for the next one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make these lines a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to go to style. Make these lines a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker so you guys can see them. All right. There. Back to the thickness. All right. Now you guys should be able to see that. Awesome. And then let me just do the RSI as well. Make that a little bit thicker. Okay. Much better. Okay. So let's wait for the next trade. Let's wait for the next divergence, the next entry point, and we'll see how this works out. But so far what I'm noticing at market open, large move down, large move up, came back down about halfway, came back up, but it didn't keep making new highs, right? It didn't surpass this high. It came right back down. So what I want to see is, it's fine if it moves either direction, I can make money, right? But if this blue line continues going down, I want this to surpass this last low to convince me that we're definitely in a downtrend. If it wants to swing back up, I want it to take out the most recent high. So I want it to surpass these two and this one to make me more confident in taking a long, okay? So right now we are in a downtrend, but we're not getting any divergence just yet. So we're going to see what we get. And in the meantime, let's get into some questions really quick. Am I explaining this good for you guys? I try to do the best I can. The market changes daily, so. Unbridled Living in Costa Rica says, how long have you been a student of 20-Minute Trader? I started in August last year, so 10 months? How much can you trade the lowest to start? A couple $100? You can start off literally for free in 20-Minute Trader. And then the only thing that you'll have to pay for is TradingView. We have no affiliation with TradingView. This is a common trading tool. There is a free trial for TradingView, so you can start off completely free. And then after that, you will have to get the premium subscription because we're on a 1-second chart, and then also purchase the CME group data package for the futures market. It's like $7 a month. And you can literally just start, I think it's like $50 or something like that for the actual subscription. So we're starting to get long divergence here. So we're swinging back upwards. The low didn't take out this low, and we're coming back upwards. So the blue line is pointing up. The orange line is flat. This is to trade going long. What we need to see right here is the RSI to make a pop down to enter a trade to go up. Okay, this might have been a really good entry point right here. This drop down right here. This would have been a beautiful trade. Anybody caught that one? And that would have been directly in a profit. Look at that move. Wow, still going. If you would have trailed this up, oh my gosh, look at that risk to reward ratio. That was almost a 4-to-1. Crazy. So we always start off with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, but you can always move that, take it upon yourself. So that was a strong move upwards. It did surpass these most recent highs, but it hasn't pushed past this high. So let's see if it keeps pushing. Okay, just surpassed that high. Now we don't have, so we're definitely in an uptrend now. We're looking for longs, but we don't have any divergence just yet. Our widgets are going in the same direction. We're both, the Dow and the MES are pointing up. What I want to see is the blue line pointing upwards, and I want to see the orange line flattening out. Okay, then I'll look for an entry point in the RSI to take the trade going upwards. So let's see if we get that. Got to be patient, patient, patient. There's always going to be another trade. Nice drop down. Let's try that one. Come on. There we go. All right, so I entered right here. You guys see that meaningful pop down? That's what I'm talking about, okay? I want that meaningful drop to continue going up in the same direction. Let me move these apart a little bit. Let's do 250, 250. All right. So we came down, had that pop down, and then look, we immediately hit our take profit in that uptrend to go long. That was a beautiful trade and pretty quick. As you guys can see, we enter a trade on a 1 second chart, and we're sometimes in a trade for a few seconds, usually less than a minute, and the trade is over. Sometimes all you need is one good trade. And sometimes, you know, some people in that 20-minute time frame, they'll take 2 or 3 trades. You don't need to take a lot of trades with this strategy, but you do need to have divergence, and you do need to have that RSI entry point, right? So you guys saw some wins, some losses, and I'm already up, you know, $368.75, right? So pretty cool stuff. All right, so right now we're both in an uptrend, right? But what you're noticing is the Dow is coming up sharper, right? It's coming up more in a more direct upward angle. And actually the blue line is flattening out a little bit more. The blue line's kind of going sideways right here. Can we all see that? Where the orange line is going directly up. So this could potentially be just a slight pullback like it did here and continue going up, or this could be the beginning of a reversal to go back down. But we just had a small pullback and now we're continuing to go up. So let's see if the widgets hold. But you always want to trade with the trend. That's when you're the most profitable, because when you're going with the trend, that's always a good thing. You don't want to try to guess the reversal or the pullback. So no divergence just yet. Sometimes we like trading the pullback and then we'll keep going in that same direction. But we got to have 2 things. We need to have divergence and we need to have the entry point. All right, what are the questions you guys have going on here? Ryan, how do you use a reversal for your benefit? That's typically the pullback is where I get my entry point, right? That pullback right here, that's where I got my entry point to go long. So my trade looked like this, right? So even if I just draw on the chart, you guys saw the blue line was pointing up, the orange line was pointing down. So we had long divergence. I had the drop down right here. That was my entry point, and I entered right there. And we took a long. So usually those reversals, those pullbacks are our entry point. All right, what other questions do you guys have going on? How long did it take you to learn the gold pattern before you really started making wins with real money? I did take it serious. I was on a mission. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. If other people can do it, I can do this too. It's very simple. Jeremy explains it very well. The courses are very crystal clear. And what I like about it is you can start this with not knowing anything. If you've never heard of the futures market, if you've never traded on a chart before, it's broken down so simple in like building blocks. And it's like going from 4th grade to middle school, to high school, to college, to like working. And for me at this point, I mean, it's like, the progression happens very naturally and very organically, which is great. So I started in August and I started taking actual payouts in February. So what is that? 6 months, I was already profitable. I can't guarantee that, probably not typical results, but what I tell students is trading typically takes traders 3 to 5 years to be profitable. Okay, because there's a big learning curve, and usually people are trying to learn watching YouTube videos by themselves, just trying to do it themselves, right? Like very, however you guys, everybody studies a little bit differently. But with 20 Minute Trader, with all the live help and the mentors and the live classes and the recordings, you're able to actually watch example trades, and you're going to meet other traders and all that kind of stuff. So that shortens your learning curve into months instead of years. So I tell the students to have goals, realistic goals. And I would say, say you want to set a goal for yourself that you want to pay out between 6 months and 1 year. Really give yourself that full year to absorb it all. But at that year mark, you should be attaining payouts. We give you all the tools to do it. I think a lot of people don't realize that 90% of trading is mental, because people and money, it's emotional, right? You have fear, you have greed, you have hope, people get anxiety, all that kind of stuff. For me, I felt that in the beginning, don't get me wrong, but now this is like exciting for me. This is a privilege. This is a life skill that, I'm able to do this anywhere in the world, on any time zone. All I need is internet and my computer. And I don't have a lot of technology around me. I have a laptop directly in front of me that I trade on, and I have one portable monitor to my right that's like $100. And I use a mouse because I'm old school. I don't use a trackpad or anything like that. I like my mouse. That's all. That's all you need. And trust me, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. I started off, I never really traded on a chart. I'm like every other person where, yeah, I have a 401k at work and I buy stocks and I hold on to them. And that was pretty much it. And here, this has turned me into a day trader, right? So this is actually really, really cool. So we're in a nice uptrend, but as we can see, we could have probably, maybe not. I was going to say we probably could have traded some of these pullbacks, but we are in a strong uptrend. And as you can see, we're making higher lows, right? Higher lows. We're continuing that trend. We're also making higher highs. You guys will learn all this stuff. And we're continuing on that trend, but the Dow and the MES are moving together, right? So we're not getting divergence yet. We're not getting an entry point. We need these two to split apart. At some point, they will, but we're not going to rush it. You don't have to catch the whole move. That's the good thing with 20 Minute Trader 2. You don't have to catch the whole move or just enter anywhere. That's not what you want to do, because some of these pullbacks are pretty aggressive and pretty sharp. They don't look like it right now, but if I zoom up, some of these could have, right? When I zoom up, you guys can see that some of these pullbacks would have actually hit my stop loss and then continued in the same direction, right? So this is exactly why we trade the way that we trade, because we want to give ourselves it's a predictable pattern, right? It repeats every few minutes, all throughout the day, all throughout the night, and it works, right? It's not going to work on every single trade. There's no strategy that's 100%. Let's be realistic. But this gives us the mathematical edge against the market, because we're not waiting for candles to close. Typically, candles are minutes long, sometimes hours long. We don't have to wait for those candles to close. They contain a lot of information. I'm actually just trading like the micro movements of the live ticker itself, of the index. So I'm seeing the live price. You can actually see when we get these large pullbacks, this is probably like an institution coming in with a lot of money to grab a bunch of, to hit a lot of people's stop losses on purpose and then push the price up again, right? That's how the market works. It's going to grab resting orders if they're there. It's going to grab people's take profits and stop losses, and it's going to be able to push the market up, drop the market, push the market up, drop the market. So that's just how the market mechanics work. And we're just playing those micro movements. So it's almost like we're playing alongside the institutions, which a lot of retail traders don't get access to, because nobody ever thinks to trade on a 1 second chart, right? All right, Space Ranger says, love the live trading room sessions with Kai, especially Sunday and Thursday nights. Space Ranger, I don't know who you are, but Sunday nights are my favorite nights to trade. of the whole week. I love Sunday nights. I love trading with you guys. I'm in the Unlimited Live room every single Sunday, every single Thursday. This Sunday we were in there. We had a great time. We were trading gold as well. A lot of people were having some big wins in there, and I was in there from like 6:30 to like 9 something. That was a good time. We were having so much fun. Like, yeah, it's 20-minute trader, but typically at night the market moves slower. So a lot of us will trade for like 30 minutes, an hour, usually an hour at night. But yeah, love trading with you too. Space Ranger, I don't know who you are, but hit me up. Yeah, if you guys join 20-minute trader, you guys can literally trade with me as soon as you guys start. JF Hustling says, can we apply this strategy in Forex also? I mean, probably. I've never tried Forex ever, but try it out, see if it works. Just know, that the gold pattern strategy has not been tested on anything but a few indexes, okay? Like MES, gold, another one. And that's where we actually do the R&D and we do the back testing, and that's how we know that our win rate is great, because we do so much R&D and testing to it. And it's been around since 2020 or 2021, and the gold pattern is still working out all day, all night, and thousands of us literally trade this every single day. So it's pretty cool that it still works, right? Some things you learn and then the market changes and then it like disappears, right? This, we keep revamping it and making it better and upgrading it. We're on gold pattern. We just released gold pattern 4.0. So imagine, years ago we were on gold pattern, then we were on 2.0, then we were on 3.0, and we just released gold pattern 4.0 yesterday. So another upgrade has happened, which is really cool. All right, what other questions do you guys have? So we're still in an uptrend. What I like about this is we're getting divergence. You guys see the blue line is going flat, but it's more upward than the Dow is, right? The Dow's now dropping pretty hard. We're still maintaining the uptrend. So what I want to see is the RSI make a drop down, but at this point, with such a strong move upwards, this might actually be a reversal. But we're going to notice if it is or if it isn't in the RSI. So if the RSI makes a small drop down for an entry point, cool. If it doesn't, it's going to take off again, and it's just going to not even give us an entry point. It's going to go straight back up in the RSI and hang out in this upper half. And you guys can see that this RSI has been in the upper half for minutes long, right? From about 9:46. It hasn't, yeah, it's touching this center line, but it's not going into the bottom half of the RSI. So there are a lot of buyers. There's stronger movements going upwards, right? So this would have been our drop down here. Let's just take an example trade for fun. I'm going to give this a little bit more room. So we still have divergence going upwards, right? You guys see that blue line's pointing up, orange line is pointing down. The RSI made the drop down right here. That was my entry point. This is the live price. But again, a riskier trade because we're in such a strong uptrend that the pullback can actually take out my stop loss, right? Even if I bring my stop loss down here below the last low, it could still do a pretty sharp pullback. But let's just see. I know I'm asking for a lot right now. I'm asking it to continue going up, but we'll see how strong MES is right now. But it is still on that uptrend. Beautiful divergence. Blue line's pointing up. Orange line is pointing down. The RSI is staying in the upper half, right? Staying in the upper half. Need a nice push up. Should hit our take profit. And I'm just going to make these equal. I don't want to push my luck here. But when it starts going flat like this, it tends to be a reversal. So here, it's probably going to hit my stop loss right about now. And the RSI is also dropping into the lower half. Yeah, so this is going to hit my stop loss. And then let's see if this price surpasses this recent low right here, because that could be a sign of a reversal as well. Let me put this more in a range so you guys can see it. So if this takes out, let me make that a little bit bigger. If this surpasses this low, this might be an actual reversal. If it doesn't, it can still just have a pullback here and continue going in the upward direction. So we'll see what it wants to do, but it hasn't surpassed this low, right? So let's just see. I'm going to put my cursor there so we can see if it's going to pass it. All right. Looks like it just passed it, but kind of bounced. But it's got a lot of room to come back down, right? We came back sharply for minutes. We were going in that strong uptrend. And now, even if this is just a small pullback, this could continue still going upwards. Or this could come back halfway, right? And then continue going upwards, or can still keep dropping, right? We don't have to guess, but I'm just noticing, I'm always looking at my most recent highs and my most recent lows for a range, even for my take profit and stop loss, okay? And you guys will pick this up along the way as well, but I'm just talking out loud to you guys. All right, let's get into some more questions. And then Gita says, so you have to wait for the yellow line to be flat and the blue line going up to spot a trade and wait for the white line to enter. Am I getting it right? Yes. So let's talk about that. If the blue line's going up, I want the orange line to be flat or pointing down. That's long divergence. The blue line's pointing up. But I can't have the orange and the blue line both pointing up. I need that orange line to be more flat, okay? Or pointing in the opposite direction, down. If the blue line is going down and we want to trade it downwards, I need that orange line to be flat or pointing up so I can take that blue line continuing to go down. So that's divergence. And then, yeah, we look for the entry point in the RSI, the white line at the bottom. So that was a pretty strong pullback. It did take out this, it did surpass this most recent low, but look at that push up. We're going straight from the bottom RSI straight to the top. So this is very strong upward momentum, and you guys can see the divergence. Blue line's pointing up. The orange line is more flat, right? So all you need to do here is to wait for the RSI to make a pop down, right? You always want a pop of the RSI in the opposite direction of the blue line. So if the blue line's pointing up, I want the white line to pop down for an entry point. If the blue line was pointing down, I would want the RSI to actually pop up for an entry point. So always the white line popping in the opposite direction. And it just has to be a little bit bigger than these recent movements, right? Like you want like a move like this one or like this one, not these little tiny little peaks and valleys. I want like a meaningful move. But the divergence does look great. The price is pushing higher, right? It's going to probably surpass these highs right here. But we're not really getting that entry point. So let's see if it happens. All right, let me just get to some more questions before we end off here. So GTAS, it doesn't matter if the blue line or the yellow line are on top or bottom. All you're concerned about, so there's the drop down right here. Let's enter that trade for fun. I'm going to just make this smaller. I'm just going to do a 75-75 so it hits either one faster. So I entered this trade because the blue line's pointing up, the orange line is pointing down. We had the pop down right here in the RSI. You guys can see that. Pop down right there. But what I'm noticing is we're not continuing to make newer highs, right? We're not surpassing these highs just yet, but that's where my take profit is. So even if it gets to that same area there, that hit my take profit. So that was another good trade. We had the entry point, we had the divergence, we entered the trade with confidence, right? And we went for it. And that's just all it takes is just repetition and practice. And you guys can get this. I'm literally teaching you guys how to do this for free, live every single day, Monday through Friday. Grandpa Trades potential short setup. Yeah, you saw that back here, but we didn't have the divergence, right? So see, you guys are picking it up. James says, are you trading futures right now? Also, how much did you spend on training before you felt comfortable? Yes, I'm trading futures, the MES. I probably spent, I started off with a couple $100 and then I gave myself like an allowance. I was like, all right, I'm going to treat this like a college course, right? So then I spent a little bit more, and then I knew exactly at every point of my trading journey, I'll call it, I knew exactly what I spent, okay? Because when you're starting to trade, I think that it's okay if you guys find a trading program and a trading school that's actually worth it, okay? Because investing in yourself is always a good thing. Especially when you're learning a life skill that you're going to have forever. So I invested in myself. I became a gold pattern student. And I also, there's another level of it. There's an actual boot camp. It's pretty hardcore. It's like an 8-week boot camp. There's homework every single day. You get put into like a trading squad with like a family. And they mold you into this disciplined trader. And it's not cheap, but it's also not expensive, right? Like I would say, I don't know how Jeremy says it. Like it's more than an iPhone, but less than a Rolex or something. I don't know, something like that. But I invested in myself. I took it seriously. And in 6 months, I paid myself back everything that I put into it. And now everything that I make is just gravy, right? Everything I make is a bonus. This is going towards all kinds of things. And I'm being super transparent and honest with you guys. I'm not saying that has to be your journey. That's just the way that I did it, and it worked for me. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything at all. I don't get anything, right? But I do want you guys to see what it looks like, a normal person that's only been trading for a short amount of time, how I approach the market, how I approach the chart, what I'm seeing. And I can even teach you guys now because I have proven that it worked. Like I've proven it to myself that this actually works, and this is something that I enjoy. And it's like a side quest that turned into like a side hustle, right? Like this is actually income now. So that's actually really cool. Any more questions going on here? What time do you guys trade on Sunday and Thursday nights? So Jeff, Sundays we trade. The market opens at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. I'm typically in that room between 6:15 and 6:30 Eastern time, and I'm at least in there an hour plus. Thursday nights, I'm actually one of the live traders in the club, so I'm going to be in Backstage Pass live trading from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then as soon as that class is over, I go directly into the Unlimited Live room. So between 7:30 and 8, and then I'm hanging out in the Unlimited Live room for, usually it's an hour-ish. So I would say I probably get there between 7:30 and 8, and I'll trade till after 9. But yeah, it's a great time, that Unlimited Live room. You guys will meet some like really cool people. Yesterday, Chris was on the show. Chris is in there a lot. I hang out with Chris. We trade together. And he started in February, right? Super cool. It looks like Mike signed up for a boot camp. Yeah. So Mike, literally even if you're in 20-minute trader right now, send me a direct message. Say hi. I also help out with boot camp. So if you need any help, hit me up. Or if you want to trade together, hit me up too. All right. Let me just check this one. All right. I'm going to rapid fire here. What if you work a 9-to-5 schedule? Ionic Styles, I do work a schedule. So I'm able to create my schedule at my full-time job, but I do work a full-time job. So even before you go to work at 9, a lot of traders trade pre-market. The market is open 23 hours a day. It's only closed from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. You can trade at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. The market is open and moving, and the pattern is showing. So you can trade before work. A lot of traders, me, myself, when I first started as a student, I was a night trader. I'm still a night trader. Okay. You're able to trade at night. Just know it's probably going to be more than 20 minutes, you can hold yourself and be like, I'm only going to trade for 20 minutes, but you might just get 1 or 2 trades. Okay. Because after hours, after 6 p.m., the market's a little bit slower, but you guys can definitely make it work. It doesn't matter. A lot of us start off, we are full-time, we have full-time careers, right? So Big Iris says, I'm a gold member. I would really love a mentor. Come to any of the live classes. You guys can get our help in there. Is a strategy work? Pips Collector says, does a strategy work on EURUSD? Is that the dollar? I don't know. I don't trade that kind of stuff, but you can try it. I would say try it out, see if it does work. Do you ever use a mobile version? I use a mobile version of 20-Minute Trader Club, especially for like my direct messages and stuff like that. I stay in touch on my phone, but I don't trade on my phone. I trade on a laptop. You can trade on a laptop or an iPad. You can probably do it on the phone, but you really want to have a lot of real estate. You want to see a lot of the chart because as you notice, I'm zooming in and out a lot. Okay. You can't really do that too easily on a phone. I know I'm going over time, but you guys got some really good questions in here. So let me breeze through these as well. What prop firm do you suggest? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a lot of the prop firms that we use. We actually have discount codes. So we do get a little bit of a percentage if you guys use our discount code, but in turn, you guys also get a great discount for buying a prop firm account. So these discounts are anywhere between 20% and 50% off of purchasing a prop firm. So we use Top Step, we use Apex, we use Lucid, we use My Funded Futures, Take Profit Trader, and our code is 20MT. 20, capital M, capital T, 20MT, 20-Minute Trader. Are you in the 1 second time frame? Jose, yes, I am. King Me AI says, why the 1 second time frame? So I can see the divergence when these lines are coming apart for my entry. Jose, I have the gold pattern, however, I don't use the blue line. You don't have to use the widget. You don't have to. But when you're starting off, it definitely makes it easier. What indicators are you using? I'm just using the widgets and I'm using RSI, Relative Strength Index. Is this your full-time? No, I work a full-time job. I do this part-time. Are you all, Claudio Lopez, are you always live at this time of day? Yes, I'm live every single morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Every morning, I'm live trading with you guys. What stock is this? Just joined. I'm trading the futures market. This is MES. The blue line is MES or the S&P 500. Visual said, so we could just copy trade. If you guys want to copy trade, I would suggest using your paper trade account. Use your practice account. See if the trades are working out. I'm going to take a lot of trades. I'm going to be honest with you guys because I want you guys to see the trades that are good, the trades that are bad, and then we talk through the trades. I'm not necessarily trying to come in here and show you guys just winning trades. If I did that, I would probably only take 1 or 2 trades, maybe 3 the whole hour. And I used to do that, but it was kind of boring. So to keep this interesting and keep this even more educational, I'm taking as many trades as possible, and I'm showing you guys as many examples as possible. But as I'm teaching you guys are able to pick up on things, and you guys are able to trade on your own for sure. So copy trading isn't such a good thing because you want to learn the strategy for yourself and make it your own so you could do this independently, right? That's the goal for you guys to do this. Robert Murray says, how much is your daily profit goal? So I have 2 rules for myself. I have, and this is about, you guys will learn this, discipline and patience, right? So you have to have those 2 things to be a profitable trader. I have 2 things that keep me disciplined. My daily loss limit is negative $250. If I trade and I hit negative $250, I'm done trading that account for the day and I lock out, okay? My profit target is over 300, okay, for the day, because if you have to account, we are going to have red trades, we are going to have red days, but I don't want one red day that I'm going to have to take a week to get back over that hump, right? To build that back up to where I was. So I want a little bit higher of a daily profit target. and a little bit lower daily loss limit. Now, another thing is I don't have to hit the 300. I don't have to hit the negative 250, okay? Because I have a 3 trades max rule. 3 trades max means when I'm trading in my live account, my real account, I'm only taking 3 trades or less, okay? Sometimes I take 1 trade and I'm done. I hit $200, $300, $400 in 1 trade and I lock out. I secure that green, I secure the profit, and I lock out. There are some days I hit 2 red trades in a row and I do hit negative 250. And again, I'm done trading for the day. That's my hard stop. Some days I take 3 trades. Some are green, some are red. Sometimes I end off at plus $80. Hey, $80 to me is still great before I even head out to work. And just think about it. Those wins really stack up. And as your accounts are growing, it's not just an upward trajectory. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. But the goal should be you want to finish your week green, you want to finish your month green, and you want to hit your payout and your profit targets so you're actually able to take payouts. That's how prop firms work. And we can talk about prop firms tomorrow because we didn't really discuss that. But why even set a profit limit? Why not take as much profit as possible for the day? We get into that in 20-minute trader because over trading is a thing. And think about it. If I'm green, say I'm up $150, okay? I would rather lock out and secure that $150 and keep that account growing than gamble that $150 and give it back to the market and say I turned that green day into a red day and now I'm down $250, right? So you gotta kind of flip the script on the thinking. The thing that works when you're a professional trader and you treat this like a business is you have to take your green, okay? And you have to keep your green. You have to lock out and you have to be disciplined. That's how you grow your accounts and you're able to take consistent payouts. It's the rule. The game is slow, steady, consistent, and that's what works for payouts. And it works for all of us. So if you try to hit these big wins and you try to take 5, 10, 20 trades a day, you're going to burn out and you're going to blow accounts. And it's going to be costly, mentally costly and financially costly. When you blow accounts, it's not fun, right? And it kills your psychology. So we approach the market and think about it. 90% of traders fail and they give their money to the market. I want to be that 10% where I'm taking money out of the market and I'm getting paid, right? I want the market to pay me for my time. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be picky. And I'm going to be profitable. And that's kind of how it works. Callie says, what plan do you recommend for TradingView? So definitely start off with the free trial. And then you do need the premium subscription for the 1-second chart. Okay. And then start practicing as soon as possible. Literally, if you guys get TradingView, practice with me tomorrow. Practice with me the next day. See how much better you get at playing around, clicking around, setting up your chart, all that kind of stuff. If you guys are a 20-minute trader, you guys are able to go to a live chart room. There's live students in there helping you set up your chart, literally 8 or 9 hours every single day. So don't feel like you have to watch a video and you have to set up this chart on your own. No, you literally show up and you say, hey, I'm brand new. I'm super excited. Can you help me set up my chart? And they're like, absolutely, let's do this. And they're going to show you exactly what they're doing. They're going to save it and you guys are going to be off to the races. So definitely start practice as early as possible. That's awesome. It's so good to see a lot of you guys. Sorry I went over some time, but you guys had a lot of good questions. We saw a lot of good trades today. The last 2 weeks were kind of bumpy. And then I think I got to everybody's questions, right? All right, I think I did. All right, we're over time. It was great to see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. Just remember, our accounts are built on base hits. They're not built on home runs, okay? So be selective, be picky, protect your capital. Trade with a stop loss. Do not trade without one. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And everybody have a great Tuesday. See you later. Later, traders.